Kin relationships, identification and classification. In this video you will learn 1. Kin nomenclature and taxonomy, 2. Pedigree chart construction, 3. Kin relations in pedigree charts, and 4. Genetic relations, also known as consanguinity. Types of kin. You can classify them into two broad categories. First, lineal kin. These are your direct descendants, for example, children and grandchildren, and progenitors. These are your parents, grandparents. And then secondly, collateral kin. These are all other kin. Now, collateral kin can be divided into two different types. One, colineal. These are your uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters, nephews, nieces. And abilineal, which are all your cousins. Now, cousins in turn can be classified or cross-classified first by degree. For example, first cousin, second cousin, third cousin. These are all the same generation. And secondly, by generation removed. For example, first cousin twice removed, third cousin once removed. These are different generations. Now we look at pedigree chart construction. See the schematic on the right? That's what we're going to construct right here. Squares designate males, circles females, marriages thus. This couple has children, in this case 2 daughters. They in turn marry and they in turn have children of their own. Now we have 3 generations, 1, 2, and 3 on the left. We go ahead and fill out this chart to 7 generations and 47 individuals in the chart. We can divide this into 2 family lines based on daughter number 4 on the left and daughter number 6 on the right. These are collaterals. Let's start with the lineal kin of this chart. We designate number 2, the matriarch here, as ego, and then her descendants. So here we have a mother-daughter, then a grandmother-granddaughter, great-grandmother, great-granddaughter, great-great-grandmother, and great-great-granddaughter, and now third great-grandmother and third great-granddaughter, and then fourth great-grandmother and fourth great-granddaughter. All of these individuals here are the direct descendants of the patriarch and the matriarch. So now let's look at colineal kin. These are the uncles and aunts, nephews and nieces, brothers and sisters. So we start with number 4 as ego. We divide into the collaterals, and her first colineal kin is her sister, number 6. Her sister has a daughter. Now we have an aunt-niece relationship, followed by a great-aunt-grandniece, then a great-great-aunt, great-grandniece, then a great-great-great-aunt and a great-great-grandniece, followed lastly by a fourth great-aunt and a third great-grandniece. So now we have all of ego's colineal kin to the right. At the very top, in the same generation, she has her sister, and at the very bottom, in the 7th generation, she has her third great-grandnieces and nephews. Now let's look at abilineal kin. We'll start with same generation, first cousin, second cousin, and so forth. Here's number 4. We split the families into the 2 collaterals, and now we see that 4 and 6 would be sisters. This is a starting point for the cousinships. Their children, that is 10 and 13 in this case, would be first cousins. Then the children of these first cousins are second cousins. Their children in turn are third cousins. Their children are fourth cousin, and again these children of this fourth cousins are again fifth cousins. 2 points here. One is that each of the cousinships follows from the previous one. For example, the children of the first cousins are the second cousins, the children of the second cousins are third cousins, and so forth. And the second point is that they're all the same generation. Now let's look at abilineal kin, generations removed. This is number 1 example. Here we again note the 2 collateral sides of our chart. We start with first cousins, number 10 and number 13, and work downward generation on the right side, holding number 10 fixed. So the daughter of number 13 to the relative 10 is first cousin once removed. Her daughter, number 33, relationship to 10, is first cousin twice removed. Then her daughter, number 40, relative to 10, is first cousin 3 times removed. And finally, her daughter, number 46, this relationship to 10 is first cousin 4 times removed. So that the rule is the following, that can be generalized to all cousinship degrees. Because number 10 and number 13 are first cousins, all of the descendants, shown here in red, of 13 will be first cousins of number 10, either 1, 2, 3, or 4 times removed, depending upon the generation. Let's continue with abilineal kin, generations removed, but example set number 2. Note here that number 30 and number 13 are first cousins twice removed because number 10 is the first cousin of number 13 and the grandmother of number 30. Note next that number 30 and number 23 are second cousins once removed because 19 is the second cousin of number 23 and she is the mother of 30. Here we have number 30 and number 3 as third cousins because they are both children of second cousins. Therefore, number 40 and number 30 will be third cousins once removed, and 46 and 30 will be third cousins twice removed. Now let's look at consanguinity in a pedigree chart, that is blood relations. So look across the top, you see 3 columns labeled lineal, colineal, and abilineal, and then in the last column shared genes. And so that these would be equivalencies in terms of relatedness. So we see self and an identical twin would be 100% related. Then we have parents and children are equally related to ego with the siblings, which is 1/2. Then we have grandparents and grandchildren, uncles and half-sibs, nephews and double first cousins is 1/4. Then this row would be 1/8, this one would be 1/16, and so forth. So there's the rest of the table. Now let's look at it graphically. So we start with ego right there with the purple, and now all individuals are 50% related that are red. So you see that ego's siblings, her parents, and her children are all 50%. Then we go to 1/4, and you can see the grandparents there. You can see on the right an aunt, and on the left, far left of the 4th generation, this would be a niece, and then directly down the bottom 2 green ones would be grandchildren. You get the idea here. Then we go to 1/8, then we go to 1/16, now a 32nd, then a 64th, and a 1/28th. So you see the ones on the lower right there are descendants of ego's aunt. They're number 6 at the top. Now I'll work through 4 examples. We start with number 4, designate as ego, and we ask the question, what is ego's relationship to number 36? We note that number 10 is ego's daughter, number 19 is her granddaughter, number 30 is her great-granddaughter, and therefore number 36 is her great-great-granddaughter, and she is the great-great-grandmother. And you note in the upper left that the shared genes are 1/16. Next example, again, ego is number 4, and we ask the question, what is that relationship with individual 21? We see here that 6 is the sister of 4, her daughter is number 13, and therefore 21 would be, this person is ego's grandnephew, and ego is this person's great aunt, and they share 1/8 genes. Next example, ego, we designate 19 and ask the question, what's the relationship to 24? We see here that 4 and 6 are sisters, therefore their offspring will be first cousins, and the children of first cousins will be second cousins. Therefore this person is ego's second cousin, and ego is also this person's second cousin, and they share 1/32 genes. Last example, designate ego 19 and ask the question, what's the relationship to individual 46. We see here that the 23 is the second cousin of 19, and therefore their offspring will be 33 and then 40 and then again 46. The difference in generations, we start with generation 4 and end with generation 7. Therefore this person is ego's second cousin thrice removed, and also ego is this person's second cousin thrice removed, and they share genes 1/256. Here I'll present a kinship key showing the relationship of all 47 individuals with each other. We have to start with some abbreviations. They're fairly transparent. M for mother, F for father, for example, NE for nephew. We have GG for great-grand. 2C would be second cousin, 2R would be twice removed as an example, and 1C, 2R would be first cousin twice removed. Here is the pedigree chart key. We see on the left is ego numbered from 1 to 47, and on the top we have that relationship with the other person, that would be 1 through 24. Now, for example, the 33 would be the great-granddaughter, GGD, of individual number 6. Number 40 would be the second cousin twice removed of individual 17. We have 13 would be the niece of individual 3. Here we have 47 would be the great-grandson of individual 23. So there is the pedigree chart key for the first 24 individuals. You can freeze frame to stop and examine one relationship to the other. And here's the next half of the key. And again, we have 1 through 47 would be ego here, but here we have 25 through 47, so this is the remainder of the key. So you can freeze frame here to pick out the different relationship. Now I'll end here with 10 kinship facts in 60 seconds. So did you know Native American consanguine requirements? Navajo requires 1/4 relationship, Apache 1/8, and Cherokee Shawnee any degree. Thomas Jefferson married his third cousin Martha Wales Skelton Jefferson. The Guinness World Record for most living generations in one family is 7, all women, ages 109, 89, 70, 52, 33, 15, and 0 as in newborn. President Obama is the 8th cousin of former Vice President Dick Cheney, i.e. one of 8,192 shared genes. Double first cousins, that would be the children of the couples in the movie 7 Brides for 7 Brothers would have been. Only children include Charles Lindbergh, Elvis Presley, Isaac Newton. Whereas Koreans have about 250 surnames, 10, 15, and 8% of Koreans are named either Kim, Lee, and Park, respectively. The Japanese have over 100,000 surnames. There's an expression, maternity is a matter of fact, paternity is often a matter of opinion. Was Queen Victoria a bastard? Authors of the book Queen Victoria's Gene argue that she was the daughter of someone other than the Duke of Kent, as evidenced by her being a carrier of the hemophilia gene. No human can be less closely related to any other human than approximately 50th cousin, and most of us are a lot closer. This is from the Mountain of Names. This is all. I hope you've learned something about kinship. Thank you for viewing.